welcome back to the channel. AnimatedALex here. Now, this was just a mess around game that I was working on, and I did a share on Twitter, and I got quite a lot of response from it. People seem to love it, you know, lots of likes, lots of comments, and also on YouTube I got quite a lot of likes on there as well, just as a YouTube short. So I thought, rather than it just being a mess around, let's finish it off and make it into a proper game. So that's what I've done. I've improved the startup screen, so we've now got a bit more of an instruction page here. We've now got a high score. I've also added a time bonus if you collect a T, and we've got Kempstone and keyboard options there as well. The game is called Munch Time, so let's get on with it. I'm going to use keys. So the object of the game is we've got to collect the dots, avoiding the centipede's poo, which is the red splodges of turd there, and the centipede is the green centipede you can see on the screen. And I've now changed it so it will go in both directions. The idea of the game is to try and collect as many dots as you possibly can with one life. You've only got one life in this, so you've just got to keep going, keep concentrating, and keep an eye on where that centipede's going, because I've programmed it so it chases your position. So wherever you are, it will come out on the same line. If a centipede eats its own poo, like I said, did I say? I don't know. Basically, if the centipede eats its own poo or one of the dots, it spews out more poo, and you'll see it going onto the screen there as he eats. Get the last dot, and we are complete. My little face has actually gone over the end of the E there. Never mind. Now the time has now been deducted. We've now had 50 knocked off the time, and we've got more centipede poop as well on the screen, just to try and make it a little bit more challenging. So it's a bit like a centipede game with a little bit of mix of like a Pac-Man style sort of game in it, as somebody said on Facebook when I shared it last. There we go, game over. So let's have a look at the basic code. So number 5, we've got a memo, Munch Time, that's the name of the game. We've got let S, which is score, equals 0. We've got let HS, which is high score, equals 0. Number 10, we've got a restore, go sub 200. The restore is there because in the program we do send a go to line 10, which then obviously goes to go sub 200. The user-defined graphics are in that location, so that's why we need to put the restore there. Otherwise, we'll end up with an error. 15, we've got let S equals 0 again. Now, the high score, which I put in there, was a bit of an afterthought. So obviously, when this score has been put up against the high score to see if we've beaten it, after it's done that, I then need to reset it. So that's what that's doing there. We've got let Z equal 1. That's the centipedes, or the centipedes. So we've got 1 is for the left centipede and 2 is for the right hand centipede. Let J equal 140. That's basically a go sub call. So 140 is line 140. So go sub 140. Let I equal 0, that's to do with deleting the centipede as it moves off the screen. So it just basically starts deleting its body as it moves off the screen. Let U equal 4, that's to do with the centipede as well, where it's deleting the body. We've got let F equal 90. That's basically how many dots you've got to collect. There's 90 dots on the screen. Let O equal 1, let P equal 5. That's the coordinates, the first coordinates of our centipede. Then we've got let L equal 26, let H equal 28. Again, that is to do with the second centipede. That's the location for that one. We've got let A string. We've got some graphics there. We've got let M equal 1. That's to do with the mouth. So if you look at the A string there, you've got mouth closed, mouth open. That's M1. That M equal 1 is to do with that. So if it's 1, he's smiling. If it's 2, if we go in the program and we let M equal 2, we then get an open mouth. Again, that would let B strings equal, and we've got 4 user-defined graphics there. The centipede's mouth, basically, opening and shutting. And let N equal 1, that is to do with that. So at the moment it says 1, so that's the very first graphic. So that will go up to 4. We've got let Y equal 19, let X equal 5. That's the coordinates of our main character. And we've got let OY equal Y, let OX equal X. That's just the old... That's deleting the old character as it moves. So it's making sure we don't get a trail while we're moving our main character. We got let E equal 0. Now that's to do with if one of the centipedes eats one of the dots, then we need to record it. We need to deduct that away from our F, which is F equals 90. So that's just a way of making sure that when all the dots are cleared from the screen, it's completed, whether I've eaten them, the main character, or the centipede has eaten them. Line 20, that's just the frame that draws around the playing area, the square box. 25, for A equal 2, to 18, step 2, and we've got a print there. That is just placing the dots on the screen. 4V equal 1 to R. Now the R, later on in the program, when you complete each screen, we add, I think it's 5 on top of that. So we keep adding to it. So we get more and more of the centipede's poo, which is there in Ink 2. That graphic there is what I'm calling the centipede's poo. So it just puts more on the screen as you complete a screen, just to add a little bit of difficulty. Line 30, we've got a printing the score up and the time. And then we've got the beginning of the main loop. So at line 40 there, we've got our time. It says equal B. If I actually show you that first, if I go to sub 200, list 200, there it is, B equals 400. So if you remember at the top of the program, we did a go sub 200, yeah? So we'll go there first before we carry on with the main loop. So it goes subs to 200. We're then asking it to let C equal 0. C is for our controls. So you either press 1 for the Kempstone joystick or 2 for the keyboard. And then we got let B equal 400. That is our set time. That's how much time I'm giving you to collect those dots. So that equals 400. Then we got let R equal 5. That's the poo. That's the centipede poo. So at the moment it's only 5. So like I said, when you complete a screen, we add another 5 on top of that. And then 201, we got our call for our graphics there, for our user-defined graphics, because we needed them because I'm now creating the playing screen intro, to the instruction page, basically, to tell us what you've got to do. And that's what all that is, from 210 down to 237. And then we've got 240. If you press key 1, you get the Kempstone joystick. 245, if you push 2, you get the keyboard. If you also, on line 240, if you push the fire button on the joystick, the game will start as well. And line 280, that is all our data numbers there for the graphics. And there they are at 500. Okay, so now if we go back to the main loop, which is, try and find it. There we go, 35. So there's the beginning of our main loop. So 40, that is our time. Like I said, T equals B being 400. Okay, so that's printing our time. 45, that's to do with our controls. Let K string equal in keys, or in key string. Let KG equal in 31. 50, if C equals 2. Again, that's to do with our if it equals keys. And then 51 if it equals 1, that's to do, it's for the joystick. 55, we got, I'm using a mixture in this game. I'm using screen string and ATTR. So I decided to use screen string for our main character to pick up the dots. Okay. So if you collect a dot, you score a point. And you'll see there we've got let E equal E plus 1. So it's working out from our F how many dots we have got, because obviously it's set to 90. So it's counting the E counter up at the same time. 57, there's a time bonus in this game. If it gets to 50, then a flashing T appears at the bottom of the screen. If you collect it, it gives you an extra 150 on the time counter. Again, I'm using a screen string for that. If ATTR y comma x on line 60 there equals 10, or ATTR equals 12, that's basically the red poo. And our caterpillar, not a caterpillar, is it? Centipede. So we've got 10, which is registering the color red, and 12, which is registering the color green. So to get that 10, for instance, we have to do 1 times 8, because it's 1 is blue for paper color. You times that by 8, and then we add another 2 to that to get our 10. 2 being the ink color red. And the same process on how we got the 12. 1 times 8, and then plus the 4. 4 being green. So line 65, that is printing up our main character. You'll see there on that line, A string in closed brackets, we've got the M. So it's basically making sure its mouth is shut if there is nothing moving. If you see at the end there, I put let M equal 1. When I collected the dot back on that line, you'll see it said M equal 2. That's telling it to open its mouth. Line 67, if Z equals 1. So if the number 1 centipede, which is the one moving right, if I'm correct, I think it is, yeah. I've used screen string for that as well. O comma P plus 1, if it's more or less than nothing, a space, and P plus 1 is less than 27, because I was finding if I didn't put that in, when it got up to the end of the screen where I've got the black border around, it was registering that. So I didn't want that to happen. So that's why I had to put that in. And then I've just put let N equal 2. So that's to do with its mouth again, making sure its mouth is opening. The caterpillar, I keep calling it a caterpillar, centipede, so that the centipede's mouth is opening. Then we've got a go sub J, so it's just going to J. We'll go there in a minute and show you that. That's line 140. Line 70, if Z equals 2, basically that's exactly the same as Z1, but we're doing it in the other direction for the other centipede. So we've got line 75 there. That is the main body of our centipede. And to make it trail, just didn't put a space behind it. So it just trails. And same with line 80. That's if it's going in the other direction. Line 85. When it gets to on the screen at 27, it prints a piece of body over the head, basically, to make it look like the centipede has reached its destination. And the same with 87 there. For the other direction, it prints a lump of body on top of its head to make the head disappear. Line 100, this is when we delete our centipede. So basically got a blank space traveling behind the body to delete it. And again, 105 doing that if it's for the other direction. Line 110, if t equals 50, you get the flashing t. So that's for our time bonus. Line 120, now this is where I was saying about the E and the F. So we're working out how many dots are left on the screen. If the centipede has taken any away, it's working out a calculation to see how many are left, basically. And if E equals F, then the game is completed. And at line 120 there at the end, you'll see I've got B equal B minus 50. So it's deleting 50 from the time for the next screen. So you get less time to try and complete it. And then you've got let R equal R plus 5. That's us now adding more of the centipede's poo onto the screen. So that's why I added the time bonus in there. So if you started running out of time, then you had a chance to go and get some more time to finish the game. And then we finish off at line 125, next T. So that's completing the loop. So rather than a go to for a main loop, I'm using a for next loop. So once the time has finished and the for next loop is complete, it then goes to line 130, which is telling it to go to 160, which is basically the game over screen. We then got 140. If ATTR, this is to do with the centipede. It's just working out whether or not it has eaten a dot or if it has eaten its own poop. If it eats its own poop, it spews out more poop onto the screen. If it eats a dot, then it does its F equal F minus 1. So it deletes from the amount of dots we've allowed. At line 100 and 105, there was a go sub command, go sub 153. Now basically all that's doing is it's making sure that the centipede's head is facing in the correct direction, whether it's going left or right. And that's what lines 153 and 154 are doing. And then 155, it's just returning back to where that command was sent. So yeah, going back to line 160 where the game over is, at the end of that line, we just make sure we've reset our timer back to 400. Because obviously when the game restarts, we need to make sure that it's a fresh game and we've started again. I've made a mistake. After watching back the video and going back and playing the game, I noticed when you completed a screen, so you cleared all the dots, the score was resetting to 0, and it shouldn't do that. To rectify it, all you need to do is at line 15, where it said S equals 0, delete that. It's not needed there. It shouldn't be there, okay? This is where it should be. You'll see at 202, if S is more than HS, so his score is more than high score, then let high score equal score, okay? I've put underneath that 203, let score equal 0. So it resets the score after it's done the high score calculation to see if you've beaten the high score. So that's where it should be, 203. So I just wanted to add that on quickly at the end of this video rather than record everything over again. And that's it. That's basically it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.